What's up, everyone? Dante, I always ask you, man, what episode is this?
19.
19.
Yep. I
Jeez.
think it's
All
19.
right. Well, as always, welcome to the Weekly Gridiron Season 2, Episode 19.
Would that make it Adam Thielen episode?
It
Or
would make it
Adam,
Adam Thielen
is he still
episode.
19?
It would make
Yes,
the Pittsburgh Steelers Juju episode, Calvin Austin episode.
Alvin Austin episode.
Hmm.
Any 19 on the Pats?
Can't think of 19 on the
Look
Pats.
one up.
I think it was McSorley. Wasn't McSorley 19?
It might have been.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, anyways, we are your hosts, as always, Adam.
Dante.
And Luke?
Boys, happy NFL playoffs super wild card weekend is finally here.
Let's go.
We made it.
I forgot about how much fun the end of the regular season was because last week I was like, who won? Who's out?
Yeah.
Who barely snuck in? Who still has a chance? Who's winning in? Who's waiting on what? I was like, the whole day, that's all I could focus on. It was a lot of fun.
I geek out on those scenarios and stuff. Like, I always got to know, like, all right, if this team wins, like, who's out? Like, what all these guys need to happen? So many things. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We've had some firings. We know Panthers thankfully fired GM Scott Fitterer. I had no personal hatred toward the guy. It was just it's time for him to go, and we needed clean house, whole new staff, new faces. Let's see who else got fired. Arthur Smith got fired. Ron Rivera,
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
That surprised me.
Surprised
Then,
me.
then, like, as of an hour and a half ago, Pete Carroll stepped down as that.
Yeah,
coach.
yeah. It's a good thing they didn't like straight up fire Pete Carroll, but it was a mutual agreement. I guess he's gonna move to an advisory role, which is smart. He's in his early 70s. It was probably time.
Oh, yeah.
More could happen
Still
depending on
no word on
Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
yeah. I mean, also depending on playoff teams. I mean, say the Cowboys have a wild card round or divisional round exit. Maybe they part ways with Mike McCarthy. More could happen. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
The big elephant in the room, other than Bill Belichick's uncertainty, is that if Bill gets fired, is Mike Vrabel just going to be the easy shoe-in guy? Personally, I don't really want Mike Vrabel if Bill does get fired, just due to the fact that I want to go in a completely different direction. Like Mike Vrabel is a Bill Belichick disciple. He's probably the best of them because there have been a lot of not that smart guys who are also Bill Belichick disciples, like Matt Patricia and Josh Mc. What, I don't even remember his name. McDaniels. What an idiot. So
What's okay?
Mike Vrabel is the best of them. He's a great head coach, but I would just want to go in a complete different direction. If we do move on from Bill Belichick, look up and down that 49ers staff, find some barely 30 years old, analytic embracing, offensive minded guy who is a nerd about the NFL draft and make him our next head coach. You look around the league, the Shanahan tree is probably the most impressive right now. And I just don't want to go with another defensive, run the ball down your throat kind of hard hitting guy. I want to go with a smarter approach, especially in a division where Mike McDaniel, he's a perfect example of that. So still though, no idea what's going to happen with Bill Belichick. Towards the end of the season, more and more it felt like we weren't going to fire him. And more it's starting to feel that way. I think that he might give up GM duties because he said that he was willing to in an interview recently, which is good. I didn't even think he'd speak on that, but he said he was willing to give up GM duties. Hopefully that happens at least. And if that does happen, I'd be okay with keeping him as a coach.
Yeah. Nice.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've spent probably about an hour just myself this season in WG talking about Bill Belichick. So I won't keep knocking down that door, but that's what I have to say currently.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, thinking about last year, you guys, going into throughout, I'm thinking 2022 now. Bill Belichick was like head coach, GM, and play caller. Going into this year, you're like, all right, let's take one thing away. Let's get an offensive coordinator here. Now maybe you're like, all right, Bill, you could stay, but let's take another thing out. Let's get a GM to run the show, and and build a roster for you with your help and your guidance, but we're gonna have him make the final decisions instead. And if you do that, just stay away from Scott Fitterer and you'll be good. Don't hire him.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. Or else you'll be trading a second, a fourth, and a sixth for a guy like Sam Darnold, like he did. And a
Yeah.
third to get Matt Corral. So
Well, Matt Corral never got a fair chance.
I know. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
the example that came to mind.
Yeah.
He's traded like every type of draft pick, I think. He traded a first, a second, a third, a fourth. He probably traded a fifth somewhere. Maybe that was what he gave up for CJ Henderson. Who knows? Anyways, let me run through. We have the final yearly fantasy football stats. So this week's top 15, we had, I'll just run through it quickly. Justin Jefferson was the top scorer this week, followed by CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, James Conner, and Breece Hall, who were in the top 5. 6 through 10 were Jonathan Taylor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, and Bijan Robinson. And then 11 through 15, Dak Prescott, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Dontavion Wicks, and Evan Ingram, and the honorable mention Saquon Barkley. Top defenses this week: Cowboys, Jets, and Giants. Tied for the top spot. Bucks number 2, Bills number 3, Steelers and Chiefs at number 4, and Packers number 5. With the honorable mention, a 3-way tie: Baltimore, Las Vegas, and Cincy. And now that that's all over, if you guys are curious, I looked it up who the top overall scoring players were this year. If you'd like to hear,
I'd like to guess. Can I guess?
top fantasy
Yeah,
players.
let's guess.
Oh, you want to guess? Okay.
Yeah.
How many do you have there?
Well,
How many
I
do you
have it all. Well, so I wrote the top QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense, and kicker, and then top 5 with an honorable mention for the top overall players this year.
Just the top one at every position?
Yeah, at least top 1 for every position.
All right, Dante and I will go back and forth. He wants the first guess. You can take the first guess. Guess whatever you want.
For quarterback, I'm going to guess Dak.
Not Dak.
Not Dak.
For wide
In
receiver,
fact, let me just say something. Dak was, I don't think he was even top 2.
Really?
Actually, no, he was not. He was not top 2.
Huh.
He was number 3 quarterback.
Okay.
Luke?
for wide receiver, I'm going to stay on the same team. Number 1, give me CeeDee Lamb.
You are correct. CeeDee Lamb.
He had a couple of monster weeks, including this week.
I know Tyreek's probably 2, huh?
Yeah, he was number 2 wide receiver.
Okay.
I just have number 1 for each position, but looking at the top 5 overall, I could find some names in there that might give some stuff away, but
Running back is tough.
Running back is tough. I'm trying to think.
it's not tough if you really think about it.
No, it's not.
But CMC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Second, I don't know who would be second.
I don't know either. I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Not the year of the running back.
No, it wasn't. Tight end.
My guess for second probably would have been like Raheem Mostert.
Oh, tight end Sam Laporta.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to guess Laporta.
Laporta.
Is
Not a
number
great year
one-
for Kelsey.
I have another guess for number 1 for quarterback. Is it Brock Purdy? What?
No. QB, not Brock Purdy.
Is it CJ Stroud?
No. Think of someone.
Okay.
Think of like a
He
top
says no.
quarterback in the league.
Is it Josh Allen?
It is Josh Allen. Yes.
Okay.
I knew CJ Stroud had some like 40-point games, so I was
All
like,
right.
maybe.
Top defense and kicker are kind of in the same realm of a team that we've guessed.
Top kicker Brandon Aubrey.
Yes.
Cowboys only missed 1 field goal in his
And
entire
who's the
rookie
top defense?
It's either the Browns or the Ravens.
It's neither of them.
49ers?
Nope.
Who is it? I don't know.
Top defense. You have a guess,
year.
Luke?
You kind of gave it away, but Dante didn't pick up on it. Cowboys.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't pick
All
it
right. And our top 5 with an honorable mention for
Just
the
give us
year.
these.
Honorable mention. So just barely left out of the top 5. Total of 342.84 points this year. 20.2 average. Dak Prescott.
Oh, okay. Well,
Number 5. This may surprise you. 356.82 total points. 21 point average exactly. Jalen Hurts. Number 4.
A lot of tush pushes.
Yes. 376 23.4 points, 23.5 point average, Tyreek Hill. Number 3, 391.3 point average and 24.5 or 391.3 total points, 24.5 point average, Christian McCaffrey. Number 2, 392.64 total points and a 23.1 point average, Josh Allen. And this year's top fantasy player, 403.2 points, 23.7 CD Lamb. Number 1.
Yeah.
Had a really good year.
Pickett was really snubbed there.
Kenny Pickett. So was Miles Sanders. You know what
Yeah. Where was Zappy? I was expecting Zappy top
Yeah.
5.
How about Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
Jones is rotting somewhere behind.
Will Greer?
Will Greer. McSorley, man. I don't know.
Didn't the Steelers just release McSorley from the practice squad?
They
Yeah.
did.
That's a shame.
Didn't you post on Instagram, Dante? Season
yeah.
over.
Yes, you did. Saw that.
We're cooked. See you next year.
Sorely cut.
Wait.
Season over.
So my real question about the quarterback, I saw some of my friends were saying it, but I didn't really see any tweets about it. Is Mason Rudolph starting?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I heard Tomlin announced it, didn't he?
Yeah. Yesterday. He usually does his, if we play on Saturdays, he does his press conference on Mondays. But if we play usually as we do on Sundays, it's always on a Tuesday. So
Yeah, because I saw he said, what did he say yesterday? Oh, about TJ Watt. I saw also apparently they practiced in Acrisure Stadium today.
yeah.
Which
I guess to prepare for weather conditions or whatever.
yeah, which is
I appreciate it.
good thing. Yeah,
I like
you
that.
want to be ready to play in a place like Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, do we want to get into our wild card weekend predictions?
Absolutely.
We can jump right into it. Why
Let's
not?
dive right in.
Man, I was looking at some of these games yesterday. I'm still skeptical about some of them. I'm on the fence.
It's so tough.
It's tough this year. It really is. I think I was telling Luke, there are 2 games where I think I know who I'm picking and 1 game where I know for sure who I'm picking. Other than that, it's kind of up in the air. It's going to depend on who you guys pick, who I'm going to side with. But
Might I mention one thing first?
yes.
Speaking of picks, so the regular season's over. We counted our record for picking. I'm not going to take a
brings
victory
it
lap.
up. Of course he brings it up.
Well, we all did so good. Adam
We
has them
did.
here next to me.
We really did.
There was a difference between 3 games. There was a difference of 3 games between all of us. Dante, it was a difference of 1 game. It was me picking the Seahawks over the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I did finish first. I'll take a little bit of a victory lap. Adam went 166 and 106. Dante went 168 and 104. I went 169 and 103.
That's unbelievable. That's actually very good record.
So it's such a good record. It's crazy. Considering there were weeks where I was like 5 and 7 or something.
Yeah.
Bunch of buys. There were some tough weeks in there, but
I guess we actually know what we're talking about. So
yeah, shocking. This is credibility, guys. We actually know what we're talking about. You should listen to us now.
Anyways, also shout out Zach Nitschke, who went 26 and 19, and Josh Knapp, who went 20 and 12. Pretty good stuff from them, too.
That's pretty good.
Can't lie, for 3 weeks of Zach being on here and 2 weeks of Josh being on here, that's a pretty good record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They'll be back at some point. I don't know when, but they'll be back. Anyways, you guys ready to predict the wild card games?
Let's do it.
All right. Starting off Saturday at 4:30 on NBC, Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans. I did see today Joe Flacco is undefeated in the wild card. He's 5-0. So keep that in mind, I guess, when thinking about this. CJ Stroud balled out last weekend against the Colts. The Jaguars lost, and the Texans at 10-7 won the division. What a season for them. I just want to start by saying this. What a season for Houston and Cleveland, but especially Houston, because I know the beginning of the year, Luke, I remember you said how you think they could have a solid year, but I don't think anyone expected them to be here.
I did. If you go back to the early episodes of season 2, I said a couple times something along the lines of I'm higher on Houston this year than most people are. I really should have bought into that more because they far exceeded my expectations.
Yeah,
Very
agreed.
small year.
And as far as the Jaguars go, who fell underneath almost everyone's expectations for themselves, Dante is probably saying, well, that's what you get for disrespecting the terrible towel.
How did the Jaguars disrespect the towel?
Did you see it?
I didn't. No.
Okay, I'll have to bring it up. Hold on, give me 1 second.
I
But,
heard about it. Like I heard people saying to the Jaguars fans, that's what happens when you disrespect the towel. But I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't remember this. Maybe I will if you show me, but right now my mind's kind of drawing a blank here.
if you give me 1 second, I gotta find it.
While he's looking it up, I'm going to throw an interesting twist into this game. Keep in mind, if the Browns win, Joe Flacco will go into Baltimore to play the Ravens. To add just another story to this playoffs bracket that is already
Hold everything.
That's if Pittsburgh and Miami don't win.
Oh, okay. There you go. I didn't even think about that.
Here it is, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, after
Oh.
beating the Steelers, they just took a couple terrible towels and stomped on them.
Yeah.
When are people gonna learn? There's literally like history behind it. It's hurt other teams too. It's just like a symbol of luck for Pittsburgh, and for other teams, when you use it, it just abuses your luck.
Yeah.
Like Dante could do that right now, and it won't hurt them at all because it's a Steelers thing. But if, like, I don't know, an Atlanta Falcons fan did that, they may be unlucky.
It's wraps. Well, the Falcons would lose anyway.
What did you say?
The Falcons would lose anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But anyway, man, I don't know who.
So I stand corrected. True. If the Dolphins or the Steelers win.
So then again, it who knows? I mean, Miami's going to Kansas City, Pittsburgh's going to Buffalo. Anything can happen, but it's always the lowest seed plays the number 1 seed. A lot of people will tell you if Cleveland wins, they'll very likely play Baltimore. So,
yeah. Which I guess that's the silver lining if the Steelers do lose, So
yeah. Which with the Ravens, because I'll say this before we get into that game. I don't think Miami's winning. So which would Baltimore rather have? Joe Flacco coming into the stadium or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm just saying the Steelers are 7-1 in their last 8 against the Ravens.
Seriously, I was telling some of my friends this, like Josh and those guys. I was saying, if Pittsburgh beats Buffalo, don't be surprised if they make a little run. Because if they play Baltimore, I like their chances.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So whoever it is, and then we can get into this. But Baltimore, Lamar Jackson didn't play week 18. Sure, he's probably the MVP. He didn't play week 18. They have a bye. He's going to have 2 weeks off until the next time he steps on a field. 1 week off, that's great. That's rest. 2 weeks off might be enough to throw someone off for at least a couple drives.
That's a vacation, dude.
Hey,
it's a vacation.
They had this happen to them that year. They were the 1 seed where Tennessee came in and beat them. It could definitely happen again.
Okay.
So, okay.
Anyway, let's get into our picks.
Someone's got to play them, so let's get to that.
Yeah. Someone's got to start us off with a pick here. Cleveland or Houston?
It's not going to be me. I don't know.
I think I know who I'm going with, unless Dante wants to go first.
Adam, you go.
I am going Houston. I like what they're doing right now. I don't know. I feel a little weird about it, but actually, hang on 1 second. I will say one thing.
All of a sudden, I've decided who I'm picking.
Okay.
I know what Adam's going.
There's one reason I'm picking Houston, and it's I believe in my boy. I believe in him.
For those who are listening, not watching, I'll narrate. He has a CJ Stroud jersey here that he got for Christmas.
CJ's getting the job done.
It's beautiful.
I believe in him.
Although
I love what
did I read they were
doing
getting
right
new
now.
uniforms?
They are, yeah.
Next year?
next year, I think draft week they're getting revealed. So
They and the Broncos.
in a few months. Like
Wow,
it-
the
I
Broncos
was
too.
revealed last night. I saw a couple texts about it.
Nice.
So yeah.
but anyway,
So-
hey, I'm
so-
not sleeping on Cleveland's defense. I'm not sleeping on Joe Flacco, but I like what Houston's doing right now. They're playing some good football. And they're at home. So
Yeah,
all right, boys.
I know who I'm picking, Luke.
feel free to go ahead. Yeah, I want to see where the cards fall for this.
As much as I'm going to be rooting for the Texans, I think the Browns defense is just too good. So, as much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to pick the Browns.
That's fair.
They had their number earlier in the year. However,
It's true.
I don't think Stroud played. I think he was out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Keenum. That's right. This is a rematch.
Yeah. Like
These
week
two did
16.
play.
But
I'll look it up just to make sure while Luke announces his pick, because I do want to know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Luke.
We've gone back and forth on this, but there's one thing I keep going back to. Rookies versus experience, offensive versus defensive minded head coach. I got to go with the Browns. They have the better defense, and I think D'Amico Ryan's fantastic. But as a rookie head coach, and we know what's the thing in the NFL, defensive head coaches have problems in the playoffs. Look at Sean McDermott, for example. When they get down, it's 10 times harder to crawl out of a hole in the playoffs. And a lot of the times, defensive head coaches, especially rookie ones, just can't crawl out of holes like that. So if the Browns get up, I don't think they'll let a lead go. And I think I got to pick the Browns.
That's fair. Okay, so the quarterbacks for that game, it looks like Keenum did play, but Davis Mills also got some run. Flacco played the vast majority of the game, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson had one completion for 2 attempts. But so yes, the very important thing was CJ Stroud did not play that game.
yeah, so it could go either way.
Yeah.
But
All right.
it's just the Browns defense. I think it's going to be too much.
Yeah, I could really see Cleveland winning, but I feel like someone should pick Houston. I believe in CJ to get this done. So
You
It
very
won't
well be
surprise
right.
me.
hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway,
Does our camera keep freezing up on your end?
Yeah, is mine freezing up on your end?
No, but every time it does, we can see how unflattering it is. But that's fine. So it's not like the recording has been messed up. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good though.
we can like hear each other, right?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are good.
Everything's normal except for some reason our picture, like it is right now, freezes every once in a while.
Yeah,
There's me going to fix the camera.
And
they can
it's
still hear us. They can still hear us.
very, yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
doesn't
not
matter.
the most flattering pictures ever taken.
All right. Next game, like I mentioned previously, Miami and Kansas City. Tyreek Hill returning to Arrowhead. All right.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill returned to
Yes,
Arrowhead.
Tyreek Hill returning to Arrowhead.
Show goes on.
Show goes on. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time on this.
Yeah,
I think Kansas City will get the job done. Miami, I forget their exact record against teams over 500, but I know the Patriots did better.
the Patriots this season beat 2 teams over 500. The Dolphins only beat 1, and it was the Cowboys, who can't beat good teams on the road anyways.
Yeah. Plus, I saw something that's like the Dolphins are like 0-7 in their last 7 games under like. Sorry, Dante.
No, it's just the picture. Funny, sorry. Go on.
Yeah.
Dolphins are 0-7 in their last 7 in temperatures under 40 or something.
Oh.
I'm picking the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game as we think.
I don't think so either.
But yeah, Arrowhead's just such a tough place to play, and I think the Chiefs are going to get it done.
Here, let me just try and turn our camera off and on again real quick. Maybe that'll fix the issue. Who knows?
I could talk for another 20 minutes about how funny it is that the Dolphins, who were hailed as the Super Bowl favorite for the entire year, choked away the division, couldn't beat any good teams, and are going to get first round in cold weather. But I've already taken my victory lap with the friends who tried to prove me wrong all year, so I'll save that for off the camera.
You definitely did.
Yeah.
All right, moving into the Sunday slate. Dante, you know what the first game is.
Also, that looks like it might have worked, Adam. So
Yeah. I'll let you get started.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, this number 7 seed, making the playoffs. Shout out to Mike Vrabel and the Titans. Shout out to Derrick Henry. And shout out to Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars for being ass. Steelers in the playoffs. Can't believe it. Ah, I don't know. I know who I'm picking. I want you guys to go first.
I can go first. There were reasons to not assume the Bills are absolutely going to win this game. It's not a super easy pick. They're the 2 seed, but had things happen differently last weekend, they could have easily been the 6 seed. I think maybe even the 7. So seeds as identities for these playoff teams can be flawed. And I don't think the Bills are a Super Bowl team. I roll my eyes every time someone says they are the most slept on team in the playoffs right now. And they've kind of lost that favor amongst people now that they're a 2 seed. Who's sleeping on a 2 seed? Unfortunately, I do think they win this game. I think if a team is to knock them off in the first round, it would be a team like the Steelers. If they had matched up against like the Dolphins, I don't think it would have happened. The Steelers are a good match for them. I'll put it that way. And the Steelers, they know how to win games. They know how to put themselves into positions to win games. But the Bills are just a little bit too explosive to be handled sometimes by teams that are, no offense, really just not quite on the exact same level. So while I will absolutely be cheering for the Steelers, and while I do absolutely think it could happen, I don't think the Steelers are going to win. Sorry.
Understood?
Dante, go ahead.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I think, well, first of all, the Bills coming in as the 2 seed, everybody's looking at them as like, oh, the Bills are back. The Bills are this unbeatable force. But if you look at their last few games, specifically at Josh Allen, 2 picks against the Dolphins, had to come up with a game-winning drive, and honestly get bailed out by a punt return. Hold on, I'm bringing up his stats. Who they play before that? Oh, they played a Patriot team and only lost by 6 points at home. Now I know the Steelers lost to the Patriots. Boo hoo! It's not the same team. Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback.
The Patriots were a different team from week to week. It was
Yeah,
really an ugly phenomenon to watch, but it means nothing. Go on.
yeah. Then week before that, barely beat the Chargers, 24-22. I think this Bills team is vulnerable, and I don't think they're as good as people are making them out to be. And one thing that really swayed my decision here, the Bills are almost bottom 5. They're bottom tier in the league in rush defense. And what have the Pittsburgh Steelers been doing lately? Running the ball with great efficiency, especially number 22 for the Steelers.
They definitely found out how to use him, that's for sure.
This is going to be a rough weather game. I expect it to be low scoring. Obviously, TJ Watt being out is a killer, but we have Nick Herbig, who, if you guys see Nick Herbig plays just like TJ. TJ took him under his wing earlier in the year. I think the Steelers have a real shot. And do you guys really think the Pittsburgh Steelers could make the playoffs? And I wouldn't roll with them. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game.
I sure hope you're right.
Give me the Steelers to win this game 23-20. Josh Allen's going to make some mistakes, and Mason Rudolph's going to play his game. We're going to run the ball down their throat, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will be going to Baltimore next week to play the Ravens. Mark my words. Knock on wood.
This game's going to come down to Mason Rudolph. A couple passes where if he misses them, the Steelers are going to lose. But if he makes them, the Steelers might just leave Buffalo with a win.
I tell you what, I'd much rather play the Bills right now than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Just based off coaching and environment, you know. I want to play Andy Reid in the playoffs, and I don't want to play at Arrowhead. I'd much rather play Sean McDermott day game on a short trip to Buffalo in better weather. So that's all I'm saying.
I do want to say one thing before I make my pick. I saw this on TikTok a few days ago. I didn't realize Mike Vrabel was a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah.
I
He
didn't
was
know
like
that.
an edge rusher. Yeah, he was pretty good.
You say he was an edge rusher?
I believe so. Either in
Yeah, it said something about linebacker or whatever. I looked on Pro Football Reference. I saw him in like a Steelers jersey for something on TikTok. He started his career in Pittsburgh. I did not know that.
Mhm.
That's
number
interesting.
56. I would love a Mike Vrabel jersey. That'd be a crazy pull.
That would be crazy.
That would be really cool.
Uh,
Anyways,
Real quick, another fun fact. I
Yeah.
can't talk about Mike Vrabel without mentioning it. Do you know I'm pretty sure every single pass he caught for the Patriots was a touchdown. Whenever we put him out there as a tight end or whatever, every single time was a touchdown. I'm pretty sure he never once caught a ball that wasn't a touchdown.
That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
anyways, my pick. I'm sorry, Dante. I'm gonna be picking the Bills.
I
But
understand.
really, really hoping that those Steelers got to win. I don't want to watch the Bills go far. I don't like the Bills. I don't like Josh Allen. You know that. I'm kind of with Luke on that Bills dislike train. So I would be more than okay with Mason Rudolph going into Buffalo and getting a win. And I think it can happen. But
I'm just saying one thing that's not being talked about enough, obviously TJ Watt being out, but Minka Fitzpatrick will be back this week and DeMonte Casey will be back this week. Both of our starting
Casey
safeties will
too.
be back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he served his suspension and it was like, oh, if the Steelers make the playoffs, he'll be back. So, and he's
There you
back.
go.
So, that's huge. People aren't talking about that enough. So that'll help in the pass defense, which has struggled as of late. But just saying, even if the Steelers do lose, it's not going to be by a blowout. It is going to be a close game, and that's really all I want. I just want us to be competitive.
Another thing that I haven't heard anybody mention yet, it's the Mitch Trubisky Bowl.
Oh, it's the Levi Wallace Bowl too, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's the Mitch Trubisky Bowl.
Oh man.
On that note, this next game.
Sunday at 4:30, Packers at Cowboys. Mike McCarthy will coach against his former team. And Green Bay's got a new, as they call them, future Hall of Famer quarterback in there. Now it's Jordan Love. These two have met in the playoffs before. They met in I want to say it was the 2016 season, divisional round. I think it was 16-17 playoffs.
Wasn't one of those the Des Bryant game, the not a catch?
No, that was a regular season game. But Aaron
Shows you how much I
Rodgers
know.
led a game-winning drive, I
Hmm.
think, in Dallas. I'm pretty sure it was Dak and Zeke's rookie year. And then the Packers went to play Atlanta and lost in the NFC Championship that year. So anyway, Packers and Cowboys. Do you guys know who you're picking for this one? I think I do, but I would go on a spiel for a little bit if I do. So, Luke, do you want to go first? Maybe? Do you know?
I think I know.
Dante, do you know?
I know.
So who wants to start us off?
How about Dante? You start.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. If this game was in Lambeau, I might just take the Packers. But since the Cowboys are so good at home, whatever the atmosphere is, whatever that does for them, it obviously works. And I think the Cowboy offense is going to be a little bit too much to handle for that Packer defense. And yeah, I'm going to take Dallas.
I almost did it. I almost took the Packers, but at home the Cowboys are just too good.
Mhm.
We'll see if it doesn't extend to the playoffs, but the Packers could pull it off, but I don't think so. Not with practically a rookie quarterback. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm going with Dallas as well. I just want to say one thing. This is probably the best Cowboys team I've seen in the Dak era. I think it was Stephen A. Smith talking about it. Someone was talking about it. They probably, unless you say it's Brock Purdy, had the best quarterback in the NFC this year. They had the best wide receiver in the NFC this year. Probably the best defense in the NFC. Best kicker for whatever that matters. Dallas can make a real run at this thing. They're probably the biggest threat to the 49ers in the NFC. Everyone says how, oh, it's our year and all this, but this Cowboys team is good. If they just focus and don't let it get to their heads, they can make a run. Although I will say this, talking about Mike McCarthy and his job, if they don't make the NFC Championship at least, I think NFC Championship appearance at least for that guy to keep his job next year. If they don't make it that far, I think he should be gone. I'll say that. But
I think it depends who gets freed up
true.
and not having a job. I think if Bill Belichick is gone, then they might
hey,
anybody might move on.
Could even maybe Jerry Jones likes Jim Harbaugh too. Who knows? But
Yeah.
which we can get into that game too if you want. But anyway, yeah. I'm gonna take it 1 week at a time with the Cowboys. I'll take them against Green Bay this week. I was thinking about picking the Packers, but like Luke said, it's a rookie game for Jordan Love. I feel like the experience for Dallas is gonna pay off here, and they're just so good at home. So I will take them. Now moving on to the Sunday night game and the game other than the Steelers game that I am most excited for this week, and I think everyone will agree with me. It is the Rams and the Lions. Matthew Stafford is coming home. Jared Goff hosting his former team. This is going to be a really fun game. I'm really looking forward to this one. Luke, I know you were saying to me how you really was hoping this would be a matchup.
Yeah,
really
I mentioned it last episode. I had hoped for this one. I think it's the best storyline in the playoffs, at least in the first round. And doesn't matter who I pick. I can't wait to watch this one.
Also, speaking of playoffs and Luke, can we just give Luke a quick shout out? Because on our playoff predictions from last week, Luke got the AFC perfect. I don't know if you noticed that, Luke.
Yeah, Dante texted it. I'll take a victory lap on that. I am just glad the Steelers got in.
These were Luke's AFC picks.
I'm
Perfect.
not a
All of
fan. I'm not a fan of Trevor Lawrence or some of the other teams that got in. And I assumed the Bills would beat the Dolphins.
You were absolutely right.
Things like that. I've just, I'll take a victory lap, but it worked out the way I wanted it to work out as well. Other than, man, I would have loved the Bills missing, but I wasn't delusional.
Anyways, for this game, I know who I'm
I think
going with.
all of us picked Buffalo. We all knew Buffalo was going to win.
Yeah. I know who I'm going with for this Rams-Lions game. If you guys don't know, I could start it off. Unless you just want me to go first, period.
Go first. You're
Yeah,
good.
go first.
I'm going with the Rams. You can call it an upset. I'm using my upset of the week card here. I think Stafford gets it done in his return. Listen, I love this Lions team. I do. But I don't know. I just feel like Stafford is going to get in there and just give it to his former team. I don't know. They'll probably lose in the divisional after that. But then again, I love this Detroit offense. Their offense is great, but their defense scares me a little bit. And going up against this Rams team, I don't know. I don't know. See, that's what I'm thinking of. The Rams, the Lions have a good offense. Rams, I guess, have a good defense. They're going to be coming at each other. As long as Stafford has a good game. But I'm going with the Rams. You know what they say, ram it. If you know how to ram it, just whatever the song is. I don't know.
Whose house? Rams'
house. Dean's house.
Dean's house. That's right.
All right. Who you got going with? I want to know.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Give me the Detroit Lions. Taking the Lions. As you said, their defense does scare me, but so does the Rams. The
True.
Rams defense, I guess it's better, but still, it's not great. However, what's his name? Kobe Turner, defensive tackle for the Rams, kind of balling out for him.
Yeah. I guess I overhyped the Rams defense a little bit. Both teams do have pretty good offenses. You always thought about Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but now they have Puka Nacua to add to it, and Kyron Williams, who's just a beast. But Detroit does have players to match that. They've got obviously Goff. They have Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta. So
Is
Hey,
this Stafford's first game in Detroit?
I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like it is because
I think so.
if he already had a game there, I feel like we would have known about it.
True. Yeah.
So I feel like this is his first game back. Man, what a time for that to be your first game back.
Do they give him a tribute, or do they just say "F
I
you" and it's the
I don't
playoffs?
know. I don't know.
They
That's what
have
I want to
to.
know.
I
Ugh.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I would. They have to.
Maybe after the game, but
Eh.
before this, Lions haven't been here since what, like
Ugh.
2000 what?
Imagine though, the funny thing, they just beat them by 20 and they're like, and now we're gonna give Matt Stafford his
Thank you,
tribute.
Matt.
Thank you, Matt, for all you've done for Detroit
Yeah,
after beating them like 41-20 or something.
I just know
Ugh,
Ford Field is going to be rocking.
they
That place
are.
will be going
They
crazy.
are. They've been waiting for this night for a very long time.
It's gonna be like the Pirates wild card game against the Reds. It's gonna be that crazy, I think.
We ever
Similar.
told you we've been to so we went to backtrack off football here for a second because Luke's looking something up. Those
Nothing
Pirates
I can find.
Well, those Pirates playoff seasons, we went to the two games they hosted the Cardinals, and then the wild card game we went to was the Giants in 2014, where we were sitting on the third base line, kind of toward the outfield. I saw Volquez throw that pitch, and Crawford hit it in the right, and I looked over at third, and I see Sandoval running home with his hands up in the air, and I'm like, "Yep, it's over." Just like that,
Was that a grand slam?
it was.
Yeah.
Right
And
over Travis Snyder's head, right over the Clemente wall.
And then who hit it? Who hit a grand slam the next year? Kyle Schwarber for the Cubs.
Well, he wasn't on the Phillies then.
Yeah, so
Okay, Luke, you need to make your pick.
I do think I know who I'm picking. I just trust the Rams more.
that's fair. It's very fair.
Dan Campbell takes too many risks. Aaron Glenn
That's another thing.
Aaron Glenn isn't a good defensive coordinator. Ben Johnson has had some hiccups this year.
Well,
They're not completely sure how to use James Williams. That sometimes it seems like they don't know whether to use David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs.
really important game for Ben Johnson coming up too.
Stafford's going to be slinging it. I think in a playoff setting, he's probably better for you than Jared Goff is. I just trust the Rams more. I think there's going to be more than enough passion involved for them to be able to pull this off, even if they're not really the better football team. And I love the Lions. They're an entertaining team. I'd love to see them go far. I think had they had this kind of team last year, if they had one more year with Ben Johnson, they could be a Super Bowl team. I just don't think all the pieces are together at the right time for them. There's some things that they need an offseason to figure out. And they're about to lose Ben Johnson. The Lions might be peaking. I don't know. Right now, I trust the Rams more. I think that there's going to be some tough conversations for the Lions if they lose this game, and I really think they're going to.
All right. Well,
Nap, I got you.
we got one more game. Yes,
Our friend
we
is
do
the
have
Lions.
Josh Knapp. We have one more game to predict here. And it is Philly Tampa in Tampa. Last year, Tampa Bay got the Monday night home game in a wild card round. So they lost. They lost to Dallas in that game. Dante, I remember you picked Dallas too.
In what game?
Last year, wild card round, Dallas Tampa.
And I picked Dallas
Yeah.
to beat Tampa.
And you were right.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
I didn't for some reason. No.
We've
Okay.
talked about this before, Adam.
Yeah, I just have A+ memory for some reason. Anyway,
That's crazy.
well, it's the same story this year. Tampa home. It's fine. Luke. Tampa home against an NFC East team This is kind of a different story. Okay. And Dante, I'm not trying to bring up a bad memory here for you, but I saw something on TikTok. If you remember 2020, how the Steelers started, then kind of struggled toward the end of the year and lost to Baker in the playoffs.
Before you go
Sorry to
on,
bring it up.
I bought this shirt to say I was about to wear, instead of this Najee jersey, I was going to wear this cursed shirt before we even started.
Boy, 2020 AFC North Division champs.
That's the 11-0 year.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened after that, but
Well-
Winning, I never heard of her.
only never heard of her.
Or losing, I'm sorry. Jeez. I screwed up the quote and it was still somehow more appropriate.
Anyway, I saw a TikTok that said the Eagles are kind of the same thing. They were 10-1 at one
Absolutely.
point. Maybe not, they weren't as good as the Steelers were record wise, but have really fallen off a cliff, finished 11-6. And now look who they play. Baker Mayfield. Is it gonna happen again? Is it gonna happen again?
Oh, I didn't even think
I'll
about
start
that.
you off. I think it will. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I took them last year and it didn't work, but I'm taking them this year. I feel a lot more confident. I feel like Baker's going to go out there and ball out. I don't trust this Eagles team at all right now. I do not. Not at all.
If you allow me to go second, even if I thought that was going to happen, and I really think it might, I'm not confident enough to pick them, to pick that to happen. I'm going to pick the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a really good team with a lot of things that have gone really, really wrong. They played like crap. But I also think the Buccaneers are closer to being a bad team than they are to being a good team with a lot of things gone right. They're squeezing out this season for every little bit of magic they have. And I'm not saying they ran out. I just think that in a playoff setting in Philadelphia, in Tampa, whatever. I'm picking the Eagles.
Dante, break the tie.
This is tough. If you look, I mean, of course, the Eagles are on kind of a slow streak, but these past 2 weeks, the Bucks really haven't looked that great either. Adam, I know they beat your Panthers, but it was only 9-0.
It
And
was.
Previous
If you
week they
allow
lost.
me to, can I talk about that game real quick?
Yeah,
Tampa's defense really showed out. I watched most of it. Tampa's defense was incredible on Sunday, but you're right, their offense really could not get it going. And I don't know if that's more on our defense being solid or them just having a down day, but they're lucky their defense played as well as they did. Because our offense we just could not get anything going against them. So again, sorry to interrupt you.
no,
Go
you're
ahead.
good.
I just wanted to add that little tangent in there.
This is really tough.
Go with your gut.
I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game.
All right.
I'm not confident in that pick whatsoever, but I think the Eagles have more playoff experience than this current Bucks team. Not saying the Bucks in general, because of course they won the Super Bowl and you guys know all that. But the Eagles, of course, went to the Super Bowl last year and have been in the playoffs years before. And I just think the Eagles are more experienced. Nick Sirianni specifically, who I don't like. I'll just say that. Not a Nick Sirianni fan whatsoever. But
I
I
think
just
he's a little arrogant as well.
yeah. Overrated head coach, in my humble opinion. However, I am going with the Eagles. Sorry, the Eagles. Going with the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. And as I mentioned earlier, I was talking about Jim Harbaugh. As an Ohio State fan, I will say Michigan won the national championship. It was rather, not as close as I expected, actually.
Yeah.
Washington played a lot worse than I expected them to.
As much as we dislike Michigan, we got to admit they are the best team in college football.
Yeah,
They
really
are.
They are.
JJ McCarthy didn't really do much. Blake Corum.
Well, when does he ever?
Yeah.
McCarthy didn't really have to do much. They have a
When
great
does he
offense. They have a great offense behind him and a phenomenal defense.
Yeah.
That's going to be the interesting thing is I feel like a lot of people said like, oh, this was all because of McCarthy. It was not. When he gets to the NFL, I'm interested to see how it works out where he actually has to lead the offense and step up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy where you have Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards and Roman Wilson, who didn't score in the Ohio State game, by the way. I'm holding them to that still. And Jim Harbaugh, you have all those guys. You may not have them in the NFL. It'll just be interesting. That's all. It's also interesting how Harbaugh called McCarthy the best quarterback in the history of Michigan.
Well, you know what he was saying. I mean, let's look at the facts. Tom Brady at Michigan
That's crazy.
only played good enough to be a 6th round pick. So
Yeah,
it is a little absurd, but I won't. He knows what he was
they
saying.
haven't had a great quarterback history. That's true. But
I
hey,
was gonna say-
Ohio State got Will Howard, Quinshad Judkins. They're coming back next year for it.
Yeah, Penn State rolling it back.
Do you want to know the cool thing, Dante? I was looking at Penn State's schedule next year. They don't play Michigan.
See, even though we probably would lose, I want to. I want to play them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair.
Just
Hey,
'cause
that's
it
one
would
less
be-
loss you got to worry about.
I guess, but then we'll play
Like if the Steelers were horrible, you would still want to play the Browns. You'd still want to play the Ravens.
of course, as you guys wanted to play the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm saying you knew you guys were going to be not as good as you hoped, but
yeah.
even
But
if
the Patriots were terrible, and we went 1-1 against the Bills this year.
Yeah, you still beat the Bills and the Jets. So
Well, the Jets beat us.
Ravens won the division, only lost 4 games, and half of those games were to the Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why it's going to be interesting if Pittsburgh wins this weekend.
It will be.
I saw a Steelers fan on TikTok say all he wants is to beat the Ravens in the playoffs.
I just want to beat the Browns in the playoffs. That's what I want. That would.
How about this? Imagine Steelers beat the Bills, and then say
The
Browns beat the
the Chiefs.
Texans.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of their
And
path to
then the
that.
Browns will play the Chiefs. Browns beat the Chiefs. Steelers beat the Ravens. Steelers Browns
it would
AFC
have to be in the-
Championship.
It would have to be in the AFC Championship.
It
So
would be in Cleveland, but
what you're saying is Mason Rudolph to the Super Bowl.
Dude, I would be, excuse my French, shitting bricks that whole week. I would be so nervous.
as our camera stops
wow.
again.
But and if we beat them, if we beat the Browns in Cleveland to go to the Super Bowl, I would collapse and weep
First of all, you could hold that over them forever.
forever, dude.
Yeah.
Forever. We beat you with Mason Rudolph to go to the Super Bowl.
Joe Flacco, Mason Rudolph, AFC Championship.
Oh, it's gonna be a movie.
Wild.
Jordan Love versus Mason Rudolph in the Super Bowl is gonna be a movie.
All right.
Well, anyway,
Good time to call it
let's
then.
focus on this weekend first. Gonna be fun.
I think that does it for us.
I think so too.
I'm glad to have found my way onto Peacock with a student discount a couple months ago when I did. 'Cause
I gotta
now
hop on
actually-
that.
now I can actually watch whatever it is, the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
Not that one's going to be the one to watch. That was probably the easiest pick.
I was gonna say NFL
The
did a
whole
smart
field,
thing putting
but-
that game on Peacock.
Well, they made a smart choice of a dumb idea.
What I'm trying to say is not
Of
a
all
lot,
the- of all the
not a lot of
games,
people
that's
have
the one.
Peacock, so they put the one that's likely the easiest blowout
yeah.
on Peacock. So that's what I'm saying.
I get it.
I don't know though. I think the Dolphins, if the
We could be
Chiefs
wrong.
don't play well, the Dolphins could pull this one out. Well, but
Yeah, Chiefs have had their question marks, that's for sure.
The writing's all over the wall for us to be right, but we could be wrong.
Mhm.
We could be wrong on any of these.
Yeah.
On any of these.
Well, do we want to call it there and leave it up to fate to show us what we got next week?
let's do it. That's the only choice
Alright.
we have.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we're your hosts, Adam.
Dante.
And
We'll catch y'all next week. Peace out. Happy wild card weekend. Go Steelers!
Steelers, baby. Josh Allen. I want your ass.